Welcome to Garden Delights. I'm Susan Howington, Family Consumer Science Agent with the Henry County Cooperative Extension, partnership with the University of Georgia Cooperative Extension. Today we're going to talk about cauliflower, and we're also going to hear from Frank Hancock, our Agriculture and Natural Resource Agent, and he's going to talk about spring gardening. So we'll see you back in just a little bit on Garden Delights. Welcome back to Garden Delights. Today we're talking about cauliflower, and you know, it's one of my favorite vegetables because I know it's loaded with a lot of good nutrients, vitamins, minerals. But let's just talk about this cauliflower. This is a wonderful head of cauliflower. I've kind of rinsed it off a little bit because you know any vegetables you're going to eat, you got to wash them. But when you're looking for cauliflower, you're going to be looking for nice heads like this. But let's talk about the wonderful things about eating cauliflower. It is saturated fat-free. It is going to be great in fiber. You're going to get a lot of potassium from eating this. You are going to get low sodium, vitamin C and K from it. And I'm just getting the top ones that have a lot of percentage as far as this out of this cauliflower. But there's so many more that I won't list. But just make sure you're going to put this on your list. Now, what's even better about cauliflower is you can eat a cup of cauliflower for 25 calories. So you just can't beat that. So just imagine eating this whole head and how less calories you're going to eat. And if you're trying to watch your weight, what a great way to do that as far as nutrition part goes. Now selection, as you can see, this cauliflower is very firm, and that's what you're looking for, a very white curd, and this is what you're just looking for. I can push down, it's very firm, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm also looking for those green leaves. Now I know the leaf part has been cut because this was a store-bought one, but if you're looking for one in your garden, same thing. You still want to look for that firm feel, filled out really good, good green leaves, because that's what you're going to be looking for. You don't want any brown areas because that tells you that it's more likely going to decay some. And also you want to look at those green leaves and make sure they're looking good. Everything's compact. You don't want any cauliflower that's very loose fitting around the part that's supposed to be intact, because that also tells you that it's not going to be firm, it's not going to be really tasty when you eat it also. Now the good thing about a cauliflower is you can put it in your refrigerator, and normally when you buy it at the grocery store it's going to have a plastic container around it, but if you want to take it out of that, make sure you still put it into a plastic bag, and it will stay in the refrigerator for about 5 days. But hopefully in those 5 days you know exactly what you're going to be doing with that cauliflower. So when we come back, you're going to hear from Frank, and he's going to talk about spring gardening, and I can't wait to get my garden ready too. See you back in just a little bit on Garden Delights.
Okay, today we're back up here in the community garden. You know, it hadn't been that long since we talked about this fall garden, but now springtime is fast approaching, so we're trying to get ready. I'm going through the garden right now. I've got a list of garden plots here that I ran tests on a lot of them last year, so I'm not testing those again this year, but I'm testing the ones that we didn't test last year, just so we kind of keep every other year, kind of keep some of the costs down on running soil samples. But so that's what I'm doing up here this morning, is just working my list. I've gotten right here to bed number 14, and so I got a soil sample bag here. I'm going to put 14 on that bag. Also, this time of the year, you know, our vegetable gardening in Georgia brochure that tells you what to plant when. So some things like potatoes and that sort of stuff is ready to be planted right now. Other things will wait till a little bit warmer weather. But let's just go through getting this soil sample. And this is something that you need to be doing in your garden, because if you don't take a soil sample, then we're guessing what we need to be doing in the garden. So I've got a soil probe here, in this bed, we'll go around here in 5 or 6 places. It's not a very big bed. And I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna put each one of these scoops right here in this bucket. These beds have been here a long time. You can see they're pretty deep. So and so, you know, that's enough of a soil sample to put in this bag. In fact, it's probably a little bit too much. And then we'll take our bag and just take this sample and put it in the bag and pack it down. It needs to be filled up to this line right here. I get a lot of soil samples that come into the office that don't have near enough dirt in them. So if you're doing a soil sample, get enough dirt so you don't have to go back home and get some more. If you have too much, I use it in my garden out behind the building there. So, all right, so that's what we do in each of these beds. There's about 12 beds in here that we didn't do last year, so we're catching up with that. So we've also got these raised beds that we made back here for folks that were having a little bit of trouble with the garden, and one of them a lady in a wheelchair uses, and the other one is an elderly gentleman, so they can still grow a few vegetables in these. In those, I'll probably just do one sample out of both beds. I'll split that up because that's a pretty small place, and they both got the same kind of material in them. Still a few vegetables being harvested right now, but for the most part, the garden is finished for the season, and we'll be in here tilling up some of these plots in the next week or two, getting ready for spring. And like I say, pick out your vegetables that you want to grow. But we also are doing a little bit of work in here trying to control weeds. If you look in some of these beds, you'll see that there's plenty of weeds coming up. But then there's 2 or 3 beds in here where we have put down weed barrier material, and the weeds are controlled in those beds. They don't have a weed problem. So it's kind of up to you. If you want to hoe weeds all summer, you don't have to use anything, but I recommend that you do something to try to control the weeds that will keep, it just makes things a whole lot easier to deal with, and your vegetables will grow a lot better without competing with the weeds. That's pretty much what's going on here today in the garden. I'll continue through here taking some more soil samples till I get enough here to send them off and catch up with the beds that we haven't tested. So do your soil testing. If you need to add lime, you find that out, you can add it now. It takes it up 2 or 3 months before it's going to take effect anyway, so you need to get that done as soon as possible. The soil test is going to give you some nutrient levels. It'll kind of direct you to what kind of fertilizer you need to be using. And it just works out better that way than to call me up in the middle of the season and ask me why your plant has got a nutrient deficiency and what you need to do about it. Because without the soil test, I don't really know what you need to do. So get ready for spring. It's going to quit raining one day, and we're going to have springtime's going to be on us before we know it. So we're going to go inside now and see what Susan is fixing for today's feast. I'm ready.
Welcome back to Garden Delights. As I was saying, we're talking about cauliflower, but now we're going to make a cauliflower salad that is so scrumptious and it's so easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of tell you how I've already prepped some of the items that's going to be in the salad. This is a can of chickpeas, and I pretty much drain those on a paper towel because I want them all the juice out of them, but I did rinse them now first. So rinse them really well, then dry them out really well. And what you're going to do is you're going to roast those in your oven at about 450 for about 10 minutes. Watch them because they will start popping on you. And then I also seasoned them with a little salt and pepper and a little garlic just to give them a little flavor. So those are ready to go, and that's just one can. So that's almost about 2 cups is what you're looking for. It's also going to tell you in the recipe that you need about 1/2 pound of green beans. And I chose not the big green, the large green beans. I got the small ones, which are called French green beans, and I like them because they're just easy. They're smaller for a salad, but it's up to you whichever green bean you want to use. So you want to just barely blanch those, and by doing that, that's not but maybe 3 minutes in water. But then you're going to take them out of that water and you want to shock them very, very quickly in some cold water because you don't want them to continue to cook. And then you're going to drain them very well. So I have these ready. Then you're going to need a bunch of flat leaf parsley, and this is a bunch of flat leaf parsley, and I've already picked the leaves off the stem, so you'll want to have that ready too. So that's a good bit of, this is a 1/2 cup of cranberries or raisins, however you want to call it, craisins, but this is about a 1/2 cup. And then at the top of the salad, I'm going to have just a little bit of shavings of Parmesan cheese, so that's going to be the top of it. So that's kind of the area that I'm going to work in as far as that. And then I'm going to make a dressing for it, and it's really tasty. But let's go ahead and start with the cauliflower. So normally, when you see a cauliflower salad, you may think, well, I'm going to take it and pull the parts of piece and put it in here. But I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to end up slicing this cauliflower. So I've already washed it. I've already gotten the green part off of the head part of it, so I have it ready to go. And I do have it kind of cut at an angle so it's flat where it'll lay flat. So what I'm going to do is just kind of slice it to the side like this. So it's going to be more of a slice look. So I'm just going to keep doing this, and then what I'll do is I'll add it to the bowl. So we're just going to slice it. And this just makes it where it's a nice thin salad. You still get those florets like in a cauliflower when you see it, but it's just going to have a different look. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take these and put them into the salad, and you can see that I can just kind of crumble it away. It's a nice look. It gives a really nice look as far as the salad goes too. So I'll add a little bit of this in there now, and I'm going to keep on slicing this. And you can tell just me slicing this cauliflower, it's a very good firm cauliflower, which is nice. And you know, you're going to be able to buy different heads as far as what size you may like. If you want to make a lot of salad, you know, you want to buy maybe a big head as far as the cauliflower, a smaller head if you're just making it for for your family. So it just depends on what you're making it for. All right, so I have it sliced, and that went pretty easily. I'm just going to break it off around the core part because this part is good, but it's not as tasty in the salad as it is with the florets. So I'm just going to kind of break those off. Some of this at the end is fine because it's already ready to go. And I want to chop that one just a little bit more, because I want to have a fine taste to it as far as the cauliflower. And it just blends really nicely with the other parts of the salad. So I'm just going to keep breaking these off. And it's just, and you can hear it snapping. It's just so fresh feeling, and it's so firm, which is a nice cauliflower. I'm going to get this little piece off. Then I have some trimmings that I definitely want to add to the salad that's come apart. Almost there. It's just easily coming apart. Okay, so I'm just going to slide this over, and I'm going to wipe my hands just a little bit. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to add the chickpeas that I told you I've already roasted. So we're going to add those. We're going to add the green beans. And these have been chilled, so they're not going to be warm, because you want them cool, because that way when you mix the salad, it's going to mix really well with the salad. going to go ahead and add the parsley. And I'm going to go ahead and add the cranberries. All right, so I have that. Kind of move this to the side. And I'm going to toss it without making a mess. So I just want to toss this around. I'm going to use my hands just a little bit because I want to make sure I have this all blended in. And you're going to have the cauliflower at the bottom, so you know you're going to have to pull from the bottom to the top, so you'll have all that good cauliflower mixed in. And doesn't this make a beautiful salad? And the good thing about it, I like about it, is it adds some green to it too. But then you have the raisins, or however you want to say it, as far as the dried cranberries. And they are just nice in the salad. Give it a little color too to it also. So this is probably good enough for right now because I'm going to toss it some more as I make the dressing. So let's talk about the dressing. So this is a ½ cup of safflower oil, and it's really a tasty oil for a salad dressing. This is also 1 squeezed lemon, and I'm going to add it last. This is 1 tablespoon, and if you don't like garlic, you can do less, or if you like garlic, you can even add more. So I'm going to add that to it. This is the grainy mustard, so you want to use it. Gives it a little spunk to it, a little great taste to it. So I'm going to add that to the oil. And then I'm going to add, I am using agave, but you could use honey instead if you would like to substitute with honey. This is 1 teaspoon, so it's not a lot, but it's just to give a little bit of a sweet to it. So I'm going to add that to the oil. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to add the lemon juice, and I'm going to whisk as I kind of add the lemon juice into the oil. And I'm going to really whisk it all together before I pour it on top. Now, before I pour it on top, if you would like, you could put salt and pepper on your salad, which I'm going to do just a little bit. But lemon juice and oil just really, they collaborate really well together when you're making any kind of dressing. So I have that pretty mixed up. It's very creamy, and that's what I'm looking for. The mustard has a really good, and I think what I'm going to do is skip the salt, but just give a little shake of pepper on it. And then I'm going to add this wonderful dressing. Just going to kind of pour it over the top. And this makes a really nice dressing for any other salad you're going to make also. So you're definitely going to want the recipe to use another salad. I'm going to use this spoon this time. Just kind of toss it around because I do want that lovely dressing all on it. It smells so good. And it's such a pretty salad too. So if you have someone coming over and you need a quick salad, this is a great salad to go to. And it's so tasty. I want to get some of those chickpeas up to the top. What a wonderful, colorful salad this is. So we'll see you back in just a little bit, tasting this salad. Welcome back to Garden Delights. Frank, we have cauliflower salad, but I need to add something to it to make it just a little bit better, and that's my shaved Parmesan cheese. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that to the top.
It looks good.
It is going to be good. I can smell it from here.
I like cauliflower.
I do too. And it's such a good vegetable to eat because it's low in calories. You tell me when. I'll get a little bit more. I want to get a piece of that cheese also.
All right, that's good. When we quit filming, I can always come back.
There you go.
Nobody will know.
All right. And the cauliflower is really fresh and crunchy.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Mm-hmm. And it has green beans in it. And chickpeas.
You know, we grew some pretty good cauliflower in the garden this year. It was kind of slow getting started. I was a little bit concerned about it, but all of a sudden we had some really nice cauliflower.
I remember walking outside with you and looking at it, thinking I wish it was in my garden so I could get some of it, but I didn't. You know, when cauliflower is ready, you just can't beat it as far as that crunch and tasty of it. It's really good.
In the garden, it tends to turn a little bit yellow from being in the sunshine. But you can wrap the leaves around it and keep it shaded, and it'll stay white like this is right here.
It's been many, many years, but one time in my garden I did grow some cauliflower, and it turned out really well. And I forget that I need to do that every once in a while to appreciate how nice a garden looks with some cauliflower growing in it.
Right, especially when it's white. But when it's yellow, it's still good.
Oh yeah.
Still cauliflower.
That's really good. I know you're going to check out that website for this recipe because you're going to want to put it in your recipe files. Frank and I will see you next time on Garden Delights.
It's like they always say.